She's only 21, yet when she appeared at the movie premiere in February 2025, the internet practically exploded with reactions and debates. Thousands of comments poured in, with many people saying she looked more like someone's mom, leaving viewers shocked, curious, and trying to understand what might have caused such a drastic impression. But that wasn't the end of it. Another situation soon surfaced, making everything even more confusing. She's only 28, yet at this year's Met Gala, countless viewers confidently claimed she looked almost 50, sparking even more conversation and speculation. This brings up a bigger question. Are these stars dealing with pressures about their appearance that most of us can't even imagine? At this point, the conversation isn't just about a few celebrities anymore. It highlights an entire generation struggling with misunderstandings about age and natural physical changes. Drop a comment with a 1 if you relate to what they're going through, or a 0 if you see it differently. And make sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any of our upcoming stories. Bella Hadid is one of the world's most recognized supermodels. She's 28 now and will turn 29 inches 2025, yet her transformation is still one of the most talked about in the industry. With access to top cosmetic surgeons, Bella has become a prime example of undergoing procedures too early. She admitted to getting a nose job at just 14, the youngest case on this list. But speculation goes further. Experts believe she may also have had buccal fat removal, a mini facelift, chin enhancements, and regular Botox or fillers. Because of this, comparison photos of her teenage face versus her current look constantly appear online, and the drastic difference continues to shock many viewers. Reddit comments even exaggerate that she looks 70, while others insist she's gained 20 years of youth from cosmetic work. But the core issue is the fat removal. Removing cheek fat has been proven to reduce facial youthfulness because those fat pads keep the face full and naturally lifted. Without them, the skin loses support, and the face can look sharper and older far sooner than expected. Surgeons say many patients request the Bella Hadid look. Yet ironically, Bella removed the very features that once made her face youthful, a transformation that shows how early cosmetic choices can dramatically shape someone's appearance. Since around 2020, her cheeks have noticeably lost their fullness, and now her face clearly shows the effects of fat removal done at a very young age. She wanted those sharp supermodel cheekbones and she got them, but the trade-off is that her face now looks older than 28. And that's the unfortunate part. Once facial fat is removed, it doesn't regenerate. It's permanent. So as Bella continues to age and her face naturally loses volume over time, she's starting from a deficit created years ago. The long-term impact of the choices she made so early in life is only now beginning to reveal itself. In 2025, Amelia Hamlin was 24, building her career as a model and reality TV personality. She's also the daughter of Lisa Rinna, and when people learned her real age, many were genuinely shocked. Reddit threads were filled with comments saying she looked at least 10 years older. Some assumed she was near 30, while others guessed her mid-30s. So what caused this? Experts believe she had several cosmetic procedures before turning 21, including buccal fat removal, facial sculpting, and filler injections. Combined with her naturally delicate facial structure, these enhancements made her appear far older than someone in their early 20s. Another factor is that she's part of the Kardashian-Jenner circle, where cosmetic procedures have been normalized since the late teens. In that environment, starting early and maintaining constantly has become the standard. And the result? We're seeing it now. Many observers are genuinely concerned about what Amelia's appearance will look like in the future. If she has already undergone this many enhancements at just 24, what will her face look like at 33 or 43? Aggressive aesthetic work at such a young age can lead to long-term, unpredictable consequences, and that's what people find truly alarming. Ariana just turned 32, yet lately all eyes have been focused on her appearance. At the 2025 Palm Springs International Film Awards, she turned the conversation into a joke while accepting the Rising Star Award. She said she never imagined that at 31, she'd ever hear the words rising star again, and she playfully thanked what she called her good friends Botox and Juvederm. In her words, she truly never expected to hear that title again at 31. So, I want to start by thanking my good friends Botox and Juvederm. The audience laughed, but the truth is, she wasn't actually joking. The crowd laughed, but the truth is, she wasn't joking. When you compare her peak-era photos with her recent ones, the difference is striking. Her face appears slimmer, with sharply defined cheekbones. Many cosmetic experts believe she underwent facial fat removal, a procedure that extracts cheek fat to create a more sculpted look. It may seem glamorous, but there's a catch. Those fat pads are exactly what keep the face looking youthful. Removing them can make aging show even faster. By removing those fat pads, you're essentially aging your face by an extra 15 years. And when you add weight loss into the mix, the face becomes even smaller and more hollow, losing the natural softness that creates a youthful look. This isn't just about diminished beauty, it directly accelerates how quickly aging signs appear. Facial youthfulness depends on a delicate balance of structure, volume, and skin elasticity. Once those fat pads are taken out, the skin can no longer stay as firm, making wrinkles, shadows, and hollow areas far more noticeable. And the most concerning part is that these fat pads don't regenerate, meaning the changes are permanent. And here's the interesting part. In the 2025 short film Brighter Days Ahead, she played an older version of herself with prosthetic limbs and heavy aging makeup. Fans immediately pointed out the irony that exaggerated look wasn't far from how she appears now. It wasn't meant as self-mockery, it was simply reality showing through. The real shock is that she's only 32. She even joked, "This is my black beast, look the outfit from my music video. Guess I'll have to pull it out of my closet today." The comment was playful, but it only emphasized how dramatically her image has changed. With that appearance, she not only surprised viewers but also revealed a harsh truth. Life rarely aligns with our expectations. Beneath the makeup and carefully styled outfits, she seemed to be confronting the very pressures of the beauty industry she grew up in. The world insisted she stay eternally youthful, but by trying to preserve that look too early and too intensely, the changes ended up making her feel like a different version of herself. And all of it stemmed from the relentless expectations of the public and the unforgiving beauty standards society continues to impose. Sadie Sink from Stranger Things was 23 inches 2025, and she makes for an interesting comparison. While some think she looks older than 23, many also note that she appears much younger compared to her co-star Millie Bobby Brown, who is just 21. Think about that. Sadie is 2 years older than Millie, yet she looks about 15 years younger than her age. So what's the difference? Sadie maintains a more natural appearance, with fuller cheeks, subtle makeup, and little to no signs of cosmetic intervention. She looks mature for her age, but not excessively so. Experts have pointed out that restraint is incredibly important. The comparison between Sadie and Millie has become a prime example of how different choices in cosmetic procedures and style can dramatically affect how we perceive age. Sadie chose a natural path, while Millie took a different direction, and the results are clear for everyone to see. The key takeaway is that both approaches can be valid, but understanding the potential consequences of these choices is what truly matters. Unfortunately, many young celebrities don't fully realize these consequences until it's too late. She's 29 years old. Let that sink in for a moment, because if you asked most people how old she is, they'd probably guess around 40 or even older. Reddit is filled with shocked comments from people who discover her actual age. One user wrote, "She's 29, she looks over 40." And it wasn't just one person saying it. Comments like that show up all the time. This reaction really makes you think about the pressure she might be dealing with. How does someone at 29 end up looking older than 40? These questions highlight the influence of outside factors like lifestyle, stress, and even the demands of the entertainment industry. Is she dealing with the harsh expectations around appearance and public image that are making her seem older than she actually is? These comments aren't just criticisms, they highlight the real consequences the entertainment industry can have on a star's sense of self. But what's interesting about Lorde is that, unlike most people mentioned here, she doesn't use fillers or Botox. Her situation is different. The issue comes from her style. Her aesthetic is intentionally mature. Dark makeup, a moody atmosphere, vintage-inspired clothing, and a serious, introverted presence. Her style isn't just a personal preference. It's also her way of making a statement about embracing maturity on her own terms. She isn't pressured to maintain a youthful image like many other stars. Instead, she chooses to express herself through a look that's more grown, thoughtful, and sometimes even mysterious. It's a fascinating shift where, rather than following traditional beauty standards, she creates her own path, one where growing up isn't something to fear, but a meaningful part of who she is. She's developed an artsy, nostalgic aesthetic that naturally makes her look older than she really is. Another factor is that she revealed her royal identity at just 16, meaning she's been in the public eye for more than a decade. So when people see her now, their minds assume, "I've known her for so long, she must be older." It's just perception, but the effect is the same. At 29, Lorde presents herself with the maturity of someone in their 42nds, and whether intentional or not, it fits her image. Still, it's been quite a journey, and sometimes it's best to take a step back, especially when the noise around her isn't worth the attention. Kylie is only 28, but at the Met Gala in May 2025, many people thought she looked 50. Back in June 2024, photos from Paris Fashion Week sparked similar discussions. Fans even compared her to Jennifer Lopez, who is 53, agreeing that Kylie appeared older. A cosmetic nurse commented, "She looks like someone in their 42nds who just had a facelift." These remarks weren't just critiques of her appearance, they also added significant emotional pressure. In an emotional episode of The Kardashians, Kylie broke down in tears over the constant criticism. The criticism forced Kylie to confront bigger questions about the cosmetic procedures she had done at a much younger age. She admitted to having lip fillers and, while not denying it, emphasized that it was her personal choice. What's important to note, however, is that these procedures don't always produce the expected results. Fillers don't always dissolve as people assume. They can flatten, shift, and even interfere with lymphatic drainage, leading to unpredictable effects on the face over time. She opened up about how painful the experience was and said she never expected it to turn out this way. "I thought it would never change, but it really did," she admitted. What went wrong? She began cosmetic procedures at a very young age, before her face had fully developed. While she acknowledged getting lip fillers, she insisted they were just fillers and didn't deny it. The problem is that fillers don't always dissolve as commonly believed. They can flatten, shift, and even block lymphatic drainage, leading to unpredictable effects over time. Getting fillers over many years, starting in her late teens, caused Kylie's face to become unbalanced and age prematurely. She even had to dissolve half of her lip fillers in an attempt to correct the situation, but the effects are difficult to reverse. The important point is that Kylie isn't to blame. She's a victim of growing up in the spotlight, constantly told she had to look a certain way, while experts who should have guided her responsibly sold her these procedures. This story is particularly interesting because Billie Eilish is about to turn 23 by the end of 2025. TikTok comments keep popping up with remarks like, "Billie is 23 but looks 32," Must be another cosmetic surgery story, right? But that's not the case. Billie openly opposes fillers and Botox, has expressed her wish to age naturally, and has criticized the beauty industry's obsession with eternal youth. So why does she sometimes appear older than 23? It likely comes down to her style, the overall aesthetics she chooses, her mature fashion sense, serious demeanor, and the melancholic tone of her music. All of these factors combine to make Billie appear much older than her 20 seconds. Another key element is that she started her career at just 14, meaning 9 years in the spotlight filled with intense schedules, world tours, and non-stop public scrutiny. That kind of pressure can age a person, even without surgery. Billie's story is a clear reminder that you don't need fillers or Botox to look older than your real age, lifestyle, personal style, and the psychological impact of fame can have the same effect on their own. In some ways, this is even more concerning because cosmetic procedures are at least a choice you can control. The pressure of early fame, however, is something young stars often can't manage. When someone starts their career at such a young age, they not only experience changes in appearance but also endure constant scrutiny and judgment from the public. That pressure can create immense stress and make them feel compelled to change in order to meet everyone's expectations. The earlier someone becomes famous, the harder it is to manage these pressures, and sometimes they make choices they may later regret. Before we get to number 1, it's important to see the bigger picture. The issue isn't just about the celebrities themselves, it reflects a larger problem in modern society. The unrealistic expectations we place on public figures, especially those who start very young. Behind the performances and picture-perfect images, there are untold stories of pressure, loss, and inevitable change. These celebrities aren't aging quickly just because of genetics. They're aging rapidly because of an industry that thrives on insecurity and constantly tells them they're never enough. The saddest part is that a generation promised preventive beauty is now paying a steep price, realizing that the very concept of prevention may have been the root of the problem all along. Leave a 1 if you empathize with the pressures young stars face, or a 0 if you see it differently. And don't forget to like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel so you can stay updated on even more fascinating and eye-opening stories.